Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're working on the SortTables data viewer, and today we're going to do some work on the error messages. Excuse me. All right, I did do one thing. Let's see if I can find this. I was watching John Reed's, or the rerun of John Reed's session yesterday, and he ran into a thing where the App Store keeps asking you, do you want this, how do you do encryption on this app? And it'll do that every time you update the app. Or I think if you change the version number, it asks you again. I think you can change the build number. But it turns out there's an entry you can make in the plist that supposedly will stop that. Now, I haven't tested this, but I did go ahead and add it to this. If you say app uses non-exempt encryption, no, then it's using exempt encryption, which means you don't have to answer that question, supposedly. So I don't think I've put this one on the App Store, but I have put the Kilt one on the App Store. So I'll have to try it over there and make sure that prevents you from asking that question, because it's really annoying. You do the upload, you don't get anything. You finally remember to go in and check that and click the box, and like you did 20 times before. All right. Today, what I'd like to do is work on error messages. So we had an error message that says something like these tables, or something like that. Well, let's run it and see it. But I want to make it so that that's done as part of the localized error messages. And if you're translating this, if it's one, you want to say this table. If it's If it's many, you want to say these tables. Well, the localization can do that. All right, let's get this organized. All right, and first step of doing that, you can move to a string catalog. You can vary it within a string catalog, but we don't use that. We're using the localizable strings. This is like the third or fourth approach they've had for this. So I'm just trying to get to the most recent one. I don't think it gives you, well, whatever. It gives you something. It requires changes to keep up with, and I tend to try and do that fairly reasonably. Because otherwise you don't open it for 5 years, and, it's just wait, then it's 10 years behind because you didn't update it 5 years ago, kind of thing. All right. If we go in our configuration, I think this happens when you make a duplicate. These tables have duplicate name. I would say this table, maybe this original table has duplicate names, class, or these original tables have duplicate names, class, because it's the left-hand side that we're trying to work on. Okay. This one's generic because it's always tables if it's doing a join. So it's this first message. All right. So let's migrate this thing to a string catalog and see what happens. Okay. So I think that's on the file menu. I know I saw it. I did look it up. All right, let's do this. Migrate to string catalog. Okay. Well, here goes. I don't know. I don't think we really use launch screen. Well, let's just do this. Okay, French 5%. Okay, yeah, because I haven't translated it. Did I translate anything? Yeah, okay, a couple. More to prove I could and show off my bad French, I guess. Okay, now the English one. Oh, and it deleted the old. Okay. Well, let's run it again and see how it does. And here I'm going to look for a duplicate. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. No warnings relevant to this. Okay, so. So we migrated to the latest approach. Good. All right, now, I guess, all right, that's the same really. Now this, let's go see what this is all about. I think it's just going to tell us what to do to fix that problem. Pluralizations, okay, so one book when it's done. To add a plural variant, first localize using the value the string is dependent on. I kind of think we have. Oh, interesting. They think I'm going to put a number in there. I don't know if this will work like I hoped. Select the language you want to add pluralization for. Control click the vary key. Select vary by plural. Well, let's try it and see. I mean, we know it's a list or not a list, but we don't put the actual item count in there. So I don't know how it's going to know what to do. Okay, so here's localizable. Warning, unjoined tables. Nope, that's not the one. This is it. Localize using a text of value. This. Okay. See, they're using one that doesn't know the difference, but let's try it. Okay, now vary by plural. It doesn't know how to do that. I may be able to do this like this. That's really a pity. Let's see. I don't know if we'll get it there. With no number. There we go. String outlook. Without a number. I don't know. If I give it the number. But I need to give it the list too. Well, let's try it. Duplicate name warning. So in this localized string takes arbitrary things. String. Well, we'll try both orders. See if that. Oh, but now I got to say variable plural. Well, maybe I should be using that. Boom. Okay, what's the warning? Bad access. Well, let's try this in the other order. It may just not be right because it's got two things accessing, but I think maybe it was hitting the give me a string and it found the count and it went, It'd be nice to have a warning on that. Compile time, it would take a little more smarts on the compiler, but now they have their macros. They should be able to do this analysis, right? What if I put the number in? I don't know if that's better. And then swap the arguments again. Maybe I just have to word the message better too. Okay. Let's work on the message then. Oh. Thought I had already changed that. Yeah, that doesn't really work for me. Okay. These original tables have duplicate names, or these names with just one. I don't know. This is so minor. Maybe I'm just going wrong. How about renamed names. These original table names have duplicate renames. Make them be unique. These original table names have duplicate renames. Class. Okay, let's take out these original table names with duplicate renames. Make them be unique. Is that really what's going on? I guess that's true. Let's make sure we get this error correctly with some weird situations. So if I call this, I'm going to call this one class. Whoops, class 2. Class, oh man. Our logic is wrong. Okay. So the problem is the renamed, we have two tables with the same renamed name. So the error is duplicate renames for these original table names. Okay, so, well, let's run. Okay, that should be an example of the, oh, I didn't fix this. Should get an error. Duplicate names for these original table. Yes. Tables, class. Make them be unique. Okay. So that warning is fair here. If I change this to class 2, if I change this to class 2, ooh, do I get a warning? Class. Oh, so maybe I'm saying this wrong. How about these renames identical, make them be unique. And let's make this class 2. All right. Class 2. Delete this one. Oh, I deleted person. Okay. Duplicate names for these original tables. Okay, let's change this. Class. Make this class 2. Okay, I think we are maybe okay. What did I do before? It was class, person. Now if I delete this one, we still have the complaint. Okay, and if I change this back to person, these three names are identical. Or duplicated. I don't know, multiple tables share these renames. Make them be unique. Okay, I think that's better. Just run it one more time. Hey, Tux96, welcome back. Doing well. My voice is still kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe I had thought I had some allergies. I'm not sure what's going on. But feel good. You have a good weekend? Okay, I think we're okay. No, I don't think I'm sick. Well, I must something's going on, but no, I'm not feeling like I have a head cold or anything. Just my voice has not been doing great. We just moved fairly recently, so we're still kind of kicking up boxes and dust and stuff like that. I'm hoping it's all that's going on. All right. I think we're okay. Multiple tables. Whoops. Did I not rerun? Okay. Yeah, I think I can live with this. Improved message so it didn't doesn't need to worry about single versus plural. Oh, I think I saw your name on John's show this yesterday. I watched the rerun. Although he's still buried in infrastructure and no. All right. Well, let's see if we've done enough here. Fix the error message. Well, I guess I'll just see what we did. Make message generic so it doesn't care about singular versus plural. I thought I saw Tooks96 in the comments yesterday. Was that not you? Maybe it was a different different handle. All right. Require table names. Okay, so now the possibility I'm worried about is, well, yeah, we use these table names in the SQL query now. So we want to make them be SQL valid SQL names, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't. Well, let's class with a space. Okay, so let's delete this one. All right, now what I think will happen is, well, let's turn off these so we just have one table to worry about. I've got this table class with a space, and I think it's going to mess up the SQL query. Now, I don't know. I might be able to put it in quote marks and it wouldn't care, but we'll try it. Okay, so I'm going to open it. It should blow up. Okay, yeah. So we get an error. This horrendous thing is our query, and so it's selecting class dot instrument class of space not name. Yeah, so it's taking our name and it's treating it as well. Now I'm a little confused. Where's maybe we're okay. Let's try again, and let's be valid. Class 221, which is a legitimate name. Okay. Yeah, so that works. Got these stupid keyboard things. Okay. So it substituted that in. I think we can look at quotes. I don't know the rules for SQL enough. SQL names in quote marks. So I know you can use double quotes because if somebody names something the same as a reserved word, putting it in double quotes makes it okay. Double quotes for delimited identifiers, yes. Backtick's the same thing, okay. Insert into table. Right, because table's a reserved word. I think date might be. Use characters beyond that set as table or column identifiers, but you must quote them. Using single quotes for string labels is defined and required by string standard. Yes. It will accept double quotes for backtick aliases. All right. Well, depending on SQL mode. Query select the string column. Okay, well, this is sort of indicating backticks, but I'm not, it's very MySQL dependent. Well, this is SQL Server. Yeah. No, that's let's say using reserved word in table for SQL. Oh my. Well, you can use Java on a Mac. It's fine on a Mac. Maybe uninstall Xcode and I I have a grandson. We were reading. There's a series called Frog and Toad, and they're debating about this cookies they made, and they've stuffed themselves full of cookies, and they start saying, "Well, we got to make them harder to eat." So they put them in a box, and then they tie up the box, and then they put the box on top of the fridge, and it's like, well, we could still go up on the fridge and take down the box and uncut the ribbon and open the box and eat the cookies. So I guess just deleting Xcode might not do it, but you're still vulnerable, right? Isn't there a way to run the Xcode or something? I thought you could build on PCs these days for Swift stuff. I don't know. I haven't tried. All right. Use reserved versus columns. Well, that exactly did not do what they said. I don't think. Oh, you can put them in brackets. Yeah, that's true too. Well, let's find the SQL standard. Quote, reserved words. Yeah, so just take it off your system and rename it to Y code so you don't remember how to find it, or I don't know if you can get to this standard. There's no such thing as an ANSI standard. There's just American national standards written by ANSI approved committees of standing organizations. Okay. Oh yeah, no, I can't see this unless I pay my $189. That's just for this one. Oh, that's if I join. Okay. Let's see if somebody's written about it. Take that one. Yes. Yeah, those brackets. It's been a while since I did this, but yeah, those I remember finally. Like, oh, now that you mention it. Um, oh, good question. Okay. Is there any preference difference? Yeah, there are opinions. Um, oh, this is the non-portable one? Okay. It is double quotes then, at least according to this guy who warns you not to take opinions. MySQL uses, yeah, can also use backcode back brackets or double quotes. Single quotes should never be used. And double quote, ANSI mode double quotes are used. Okay, I guess that's enough to make me believe it. All right. Let's see. This is getting back into the database part of the app rather than the part we've been using. SQL database, is it? Yeah. Inactive contents. Well, I think this should be .SQL quote too. We'll see who breaks. Tables. Oops, I want to run tests. I'm expecting a test to break because I'm putting quotes around something I wasn't before. We'll see. Okay, I was going to say there should be at least one assertion failing. All right, where are you guys? Oh, well, that's already that's a different thing. Okay, guess that was poor. Okay, yeah, so from T0, T1, these will probably have quotes now. Okay, so let's put them in. I'm doing this kind of backwards, but this is, well, we had the original name and the rename name, and I forget which one comes first, but our name was not quoted, so I think that's what that is. Yeah. Probably in the where clause too. No. Okay, we'll have to see what's going on there. You'd think the order by would need it. T0 to call 1. It's unfortunate it blocks what you're trying to look at. It's like T0, T1, call 1, call as. Well, I'm going to flip this again because I don't know, I got a weird habit, I guess. Is that the only one? The only one in here. Okay, so I came out with T0 call 1. And statement.make did not do that. Okay, I got to look at the select then. Okay, table SQL name has them both. Yeah, this should be. Okay, let's see if I got this how I want it. Oh, that one passed. These are the ones. Okay, so the problem is the select, the column spec does not have it. Okay, so that I think is right. This should be quote. From those. Okay, let's try this one again. Make sure I get the right failure. Okay, none there, none there. That's okay. All right, so I think I'm back at the right place here. This should be .SQL quote. Okay, let's try it again. We'll run them all. I'm hoping this one passes and these still have an issue. Okay. Oops, that should be. Okay, I'm going to fix these others too. So this is testing the generator class. If that's not clear, select count start a group by T0. Okay, hopefully select statement texts do better. Whoops. It's still at a failure. T0, T0, T1, T1, where T0.name equals T1.instructor.email equals T1.email. Yes. 0, 2, 0, 1, 2. Oops, I left out. That's on me. Again, I want select statement to pass, and I haven't fixed the tests on these. Good. Okay. I hope these still have it. All right, so hopefully I've reversed all the assert equals that we're looking at. Oh, one failure. That's probably a mistake on my part. Leave something out. I didn't think ignored got quoted. Oh, that one's not failing. Where are you? Oh, way up there now. Okay. Well, we still haven't quite done that. What we did was make all table references be quoted, including renamed tables. Now, I'm not clear that we've got things in the right order. In that query, we had the table and the rename table, and who knows if they're right. I'm not going to worry about it yet. I'm still trying to get through the configuration side. So, okay. Required table renames to be valid SQL names. It's not clear to me that's as critical now. I think it might not be. Based on what we just saw, well, not just, but 15 minutes ago. So let's just do person this time. I'm going to give it a name that is not valid name. Okay, actually number is the valid one in SQL. Percent. Let's do star. Okay. And I should be able to just open this, and I'm hoping that just works. Yeah, good. Okay, so SQL's not picky about what the name you give it is for a rename, which is a good sign for our fields because we want to be able to give them whatever we want. And that also means require them to be valid SQL names. They don't have to be. So that makes that easier. All right, so that way they don't have to be valid SQL names. Okay. All right. Mini break. We'll wait a little bit. Okay, so now we got some refactoring to do. Delete table uses a filter over join, push that to the join class. Okay, I think I saw this when I was recording the summary this week. Let's open database selection. Okay, and what was that message? Delete table. Delete table. Okay, yeah. So $0 here is a join, and this stuff, $0.com, 1.table ID, blah, 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 blah. All this is really a question we're asking the join. And so I would like to refactor this to be a method on join. Actually, I think it's the opposite. So I'm going to negate this whole expression. Okay. And then, well, no, let's do it the other way. I've got this. I want to pull out the equal sign. So De Morgan's law says I have to reverse the conditions and switch to or. Okay, so pull out the not, reverse the conditions, and switch to or. Okay, and actually I think this is a little easier to understand even now. If we have the table column to ID in either column, we don't want to include it, so it's the not of that. But this expression is definitely a good one for join. All right, so let's open join. All right, and nobody's asked him this before. So this is, it takes an argument, so it's going to have to be a function. I think contains table name of string, returns a bool. Okay, $0.com1.table equals table name. Now I probably should have used my tools for that. Renamed that to table ID delete and then do a rename. Okay, but if the column equals the table name or the second column equals the table name, then it's then it contains that table name. Okay, this should pass. Oh, whoops. This is $0 self, so just like that. Oh, is it not an ID? It's an ID. I'm going to call this table reference. Once again, I still didn't use my tool. Okay. Table ID equals table ID 2. Okay. That should pass. Now you might be looking at that and going like, oh, I haven't used it yet. Okay. Well, okay. So I haven't used it. This is $0 dot contains table ID to delete. So only keep the ones that don't contain table ID to delete. All right, this should still pass. I don't know, contains, I want to say uses table. Well, contains isn't bad. Okay, that's good. Now, like I was starting to say, you might look at this and go like, wait a minute, this expression is really a pure function of column 1, and similarly for column 2, which is a scoped column. So maybe they should have a contain method, and I think the answer is yes, they should. Okay, so let's go to ScopedColumn and description. Let's give it table ID. It's just self table ID. Well, self table ID equals table ID. Okay. We're not using it, so that shouldn't cost us anything. All right, and now this is column dot contains table ID, or column 2 dot contains table ID. Good. Okay. Give join and scoped column a method to tell whether they contain a particular table ID. All right, rename includesTable to active tables. Yeah, we'll have to find where it's used. Whoops. It's this one. So the table selection is active. Yeah, I think that sort of Boolean phrase works. Let's see the usages. If selection is active, yep, that's pretty good. Selection is active. Okay. I guess that was table selection. Okay, here's a little bigger one. Should ScopedColumn maintain the table name or look it up as needed? We have ScopedColumn here. Let's close the others. So ScopedColumn has this field, and we'd like to see where it's used. And Xcode does not do a good job. Oh, here it is. Table. No one's referencing this. Okay, let's take it out. I'm going to do it this way just because I don't know, Xcode sometimes reports stuff like that and it's not really quite true. But if this works, we've done the work to take it out. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Okay. Isn't that funny? Okay. Well, that test is being a little snoopy, maybe. Expected.column1.table. I think this really should be table ID. Oh, let's. This is working table. Actual is a working join. If I think what's happened is ScopedColumn now has its own equatable that looks at table IDs, and I think that's what this should be using. So actual column1 table and column name equals column2 table and column name. I think this should just be actual one dot column1 equals expected dot column1. And this is extra. Actual column2 equals expected dot column2. And that also makes me think that actual should, oh wait, expect actual dot column1 equals expected dot column1. This goes away. Well, working join versus join. Oh yeah, no, we have to do that the other way. Okay. The working join does not have the table ID. I don't think that's over on the side we haven't dealt with. Working column. Well, hey, Mud Shark, good to see you. All right, so this is ScopedColumn maintain its regular table name. Well, the only place it uses it, well, the only place it mentioned it was this, but when we compiled it, it said, oh, I need it for that. Okay, so database selection tests. This is kind of testing that crossover from the database selection to the working map, the working thing we create. And so it's trying to check to make sure the joins are right. And it looks at table to do that. I think that's not really what we want at this point. Let's go to database selection. Test is big. Okay, so database selection, we're mapping it to scoped ID. No, I want to get a working schema. Yeah. Columns is table selection visible columns. Show table, rename table. The joins, rename table, join column one, table ID. Rename table name. Yeah, we need the selection to do that. But this is a database selection test, so we have it. Let's pass that first. Okay. Now, anybody who calls this should be passing the database selection too. Okay, so selection. Really? Nobody else is complaining? Okay. Actual is the working join. Column one dot table. This should be selection dot renamed. Nope. Table name of expected column one dot table ID. And same thing over here. Okay, let's make sure that builds and passes. Good. All right. So now database select, scope column no longer has that string that gave us so much trouble. Okay. So this is making, I'm not sure how the the phrase for it is. I have my domain-driven design book here somewhere. But one of the things they brought out, or Eric Evans brought out, was a lot of times you have a cloud of stuff, and yet there's sort of a parent context to the whole cluster of things, and you can't use IDs or anything like that outside of that cluster. But within it, it you can, like ours, you could use it to match them up, compare them, the IDs, but you couldn't compare an outsider to the reference ID of a table, to the table ID. That just doesn't make sense unless you map it through the collection as a whole. Now, I'm due for a reread on that book for sure, but I think this is an example of that. And I think as we get into this next thing, which is renaming the columns, I think we're going to face the same thing, that this column ID, this column name, should really be a column ID in our general context. And when we do the renames, that helps that, because you don't have to worry about, oh, do these names happen to be the same? It's like, they're different entities. Okay. All right. So, whoops. Make scope column no longer maintain the table name. Look it up as needed. Make sure that was good. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Single truth. Retain the raw table name. My L key is getting bad. Raw table name. Look it up in database selection if needed. Okay, that was the easy stuff. If you think back to, the last couple of weeks, we've been dealing with the renaming tables. The column names might not need IDs if the rename is just for presentation. Well, I think we'll see what we think as we go, but these column names, well, okay. Where's that database selection stuff? No, it was SQL selection. SQL. What was it? Support? There's no SQL support tests. We did just fix a bunch of tests. Maybe that's these. I don't know. That's some different range too. I think yeah, that was right. I think we took that out of the database directly. All right, but I don't think this is the right thing. SQL test, Table selection tests. We just changed these. Nope. Select table. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so yeah, so right now the query builder does add that stuff, but it certainly needs to know the original name. Okay, so I think that's going to be the thing that needs to be an ID. Basically, for the same reason before, we switched to an ID because we're maintaining this table of class renames, and if you want to talk about it both up here in the table section and down here in the join section, they needed something to tie them together. And because you're changing the name on this side, you don't want to change the name on the joins. You want to just have it look up and use the name that's looked up. I think it will have the same problem. We do have this notion. Oh, no, maybe we don't. I know we have as. Yeah, we use as for ignored. Do we use it anywhere else? Maybe not. Yeah, so I guess we will have to, like you're saying, name column one will be column one as person, or something like that. Okay. Well, I think let's check that in. It's just dead code. Okay, so our next thing is this renaming fields. And I think like before, I'm going to start from the UI and get the pieces there, and then we'll go back in and fill in the code side of that. We can have a rename that doesn't do anything for a while. All right. Yeah, I think might be enough. Well, I feel like you need to know the renamed name on the bottom section too. So we'll see. But anyway, my strategy is going to be get the the user interface working, and then work on the table creation thing. And then I think if you look at our SQL database, let's see, is this, no, database selection. Okay. The data it sends over, right? It's got the table reference map. It's got the tables selections, but like there's nothing about renaming in here. It's got which columns are selected, but nothing about their names. So that means the database part of this, or the sort tables part, has not supported this renaming columns. This is a brand new feature to it. So it's not coming through, because if you remember, like we had the data for this class was originally a separate class, and just for transformation into that. And then we said, oh, everything in there is database selection. Let's create the database selection class. And database selection has this information. That's the stuff that's generating the working schema. And since the working schema doesn't have renamed column names, there was never support for that. So we'll add it and go from there. I think we're due for a break anyway, and it's certainly nothing we're going to finish in an hour. So I'm hoping we'll finish it this week. We'll see how it goes. All right, but anyway, see you in a few minutes for the break. Welcome back. All right, let's get some user interface going. Okay, so all I have in mind is the same sort of thing with an equals followed by a little dialog box there. And let's get database view out here. Okay. Well, okay, so this is part of, well, it's part of both all tables view and all joins view. Well, no, it's really only all tables view. Okay, so all tables view, maybe the joins, you could argue, don't need to be that. We'll have to think about that one. Anyway, I just want to put equals whatever after them, so let's get down to one table view. Well, let's get to class. Yeah, one table view. Okay, so we just put these two in, well, this stuff, to give it a renamed value. Selectable table column button. Okay, and let's just put this stuff at the back. And this is database view, rename column. And we'll go to our localizable. Plus keys that. Okay. Now, we can't use table selection rename table, or we'd name it the name as the table name. One table view. Well, okay, for now, I'm going to just make it state var renamed column. All right, but that we can't keep this. It's got to be one per thing, per table, per column. All right, but something should happen. I think what will happen is each column will share a name within one table. Whoops. Well, we'll start here. Column names come from the database. Oh, that's a little ugly. Instrument equals class. Okay, so I think what'll happen, I think all these will share the same name. Oh, it's the class too. Why is that? Table view. Oh, because I didn't actually use it. This is renamed column. Now the formatting is horrible, but these will all share the same column within this table. Okay, yeah. And these are a new table, they don't have it. All right, let's fix the formatting first. Well, I guess this should be an H stack. With a spacer. Did I not put it in? How is there extraneous? I think that must be an old message. No exact matches. Group. Oh. No exact matches in reference to static method. Okay, let's take this out. Okay, make sure I'm doing the right one. Rename column for each. Okay. So H stack, and then after the frame, that should be okay. What? Okay. His H stack is there. Why is that? Okay, that's the table entry. Let me just try group. Okay, I am so puzzled. That should build. I think I'm going to pull out. That seems okay. Let's run it. I'm going to pull out a one column view anyway. Okay. Well, maybe this is the moment to do that. Okay, what do we need? Table selection. No, table selection includes column. Well, we need a, whatever this thing's working on. All columns is table selection. Oh, all columns is a string? Well, that might not fly. I guess it's a var column name of string. Okay. And then $0 becomes column name. Okay. Cannot find renamed column. Well, let's put that over here. So this will make each one have unique stuff now. Okay. Right, now it's one column view with column name, table selection, and renamed column. Maybe the other order. Table selection, column name, renamed column. And I hope that goes away. That should be easier for it because it should have a simpler structure now. Let's clear the diagnostic. Yeah. I did. It's already blowing up before I even build. Binding to a database selection, binding to a table. Wow. I'm going to revert. Okay, let's build. Okay, so we want this thing again. Now it's just this. So we're starting from a simpler place. All right, he needs a $0, which is a var column name of a string. Well, and he needs a binding to var table selection of table selection. This is column name. Oh, that L key. All right, I think that's all it needs the way we are now. Okay, and so I should be able to say one column. Earlier I typed 2 and I got 1. It's not that old of a keyboard. Table selection is $. Is that what I forgot? $, last time. And $0. I bet that's how it was. Okay, this is smaller change. All right, so I just pulled out one column view and passed it the original contents with this selectable column button. And I guess we'll do a run. It is a UI change. Okay, but everything looks okay. I hadn't noticed those gray lines that much before, but when they were spread out every time, it really made it more noticeable. All right, they're tolerable. All right, so let's pull this out. You'll need Swift UI. Okay, so this should run. Yeah, I'm going back to your comment that we should hold two names. We may need to hold two names or an ID or something. It feels like table selection should be in that same boat, so I'm not sure why it's not. But we'll hold that thought too and come back to it. All right, so now one table view. All right, so I should be able to make an H stack. With this thing in it, that, we'll put some spacing, and then I want that selector stuff. Oh, spacer, not spacing. Okay. Oh man, it does not like that again. That just seems so odd to me. Why? Oh, it's over here. No exact matches. Oh man. Let's see. One column view, table selection, column name. This is like the worst error ever. Candidate requires that this conform to accessibility rotor content. Now, is that this thing again? Well, I don't know why it's any different up here. Each stack. He's complaining there, but I think the error is really down here. Well, let's see. Candidate. Oh. HDEC of tuple view with a view, a text, a view, spacer, and a view. I think that's this. View, a text, view, spacer, and a view. Right? Why? Let's see what people are saying on this. It's a typo somewhere. Thank you. Well, I guess I could comment out this. See how he does. What the heck? For each array of all columns, ID self. No problem with that. We should have a list of names, but nothing useful in them. I mean, this thing should be in a V, well, as a group. Let's try it as a V stack. That's why it's a group. Okay. H stack. What does it mean? Okay, here's my. This is one table entry. So I think it's just this thing that it centers stuff by default. Must be one column view. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it all ran a minute ago. I guess until I added this. This is HStack. Okay, let's see if this runs. Oh, I guess it did with it. text. Okay, now let's run it again. A renamed column. Oh, I didn't assign. Golly, can you come up with a worse message for me, man? Why VStack would work and not HStack, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, I can't imagine. Well, I mean, what's going on, I think, is when you get these deeply nested structures, right? It's like we saw the type was, it was view, comma, text as a tuple, view, text, view, spacer, view, and each of those can be more and more complicated things. It gets these very, very, very deep structures. Usually you wouldn't have stuff that's deep, So I think, in a complicated view, which this is moderately complicated, there's dozens, if not more, of layers of this thing. And I think it just makes it hard for it to kind of interpret it sometimes. And the messages you get are just kind of very generic, like, I can't handle it kind of things. And we saw a can't handle it message, and then we saw the other message. And it just isn't very good at realizing when there's a problem with something, it's where the problem is. But yeah, it's just a unfortunate thing. Oh, geez. Sorry about that. I got to figure out what Nightbot is complaining about your caps. I'll figure that out. Let me make a note somewhere. All right. Okay, well, we have something that looks like a view now. The state, so twist, each one is its own thing now. Oops. Oh, keyboard thing. Okay. Apparently there's no tab button on a finger keyboard. All right, well, this is twist and new name and so on. Each one's becoming its own thing. They're not all cross whatever. All right, rename table to rename column. Yeah, why is that rename table? Oh, because I just copied and pasted. Actually, I think it should be initially the value of the original column name, which I don't remember how to do. Text field prompts. Oops. You gonna let me do that? I don't mind if it says, use that for accessibility or whatever to read that name. But I think this switches that prompt around to our table name or field column name. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's good enough for now. Line 16. Is it value? You lost me. One column view. I think, oh, are you saying should it be a value? I don't know the difference there. Text versus value. Create a text field with a string. I think because it's a string, I can use this. Key text prompt label generated from a localized title string. Okay. This should probably be, is it literal? No. Verbatim. If I don't do that, then it goes and looks up as a localized name, but the column names aren't relevant to that. Of text field. Oh yeah, you're right. I can't. Well, it's not easy. We'll see if my init will do it. I think it complains. Table selection, blah, blah, blah. We don't really need a renamed column. Yeah, it doesn't like these initializations. I might be able to do this as a defer. Actually, this should be okay, right? What is not initialized? I don't think I can do this either. Okay. And that state right now is just a field owned by this, but that's not going to be how it is long term. I don't think. If I go back to one table, oh well, this is binding. Table selection does have rename table. Okay. We will need to do something like that. All right. Well, let's make sure that actually ran. I think I could align all these, but I think I'm okay with it bouncing around a little. And that should do it. Let's make sure duplicate. Okay. Yep, that should be okay. All right, check that in. For renaming columns. Okay. Now I'm not sure. So I think one thing is like our table selection. I think kind of to what you were saying before, that right now the column stuff is, well, it's naive, right? It's just a string. Well, it's a set of strings for the columns, and oh, they're just coming from metadata even, and then we manage the selection as a list of strings. I don't know. There's this. Maybe I have a picture. Well, that's a little it. ScopedColumn. No, that's old, which means this is old. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, what we have is we have database selection holds a table selection, and table selection holds the bunch of stuff. Database selection holds joins and it holds tables. And tables don't hold columns, they hold strings. And so I think, kind of to your point earlier about needing to be a more complicated structure, I think maybe table selection needs to hold column selections, and then it can answer selected columns by walking through those and getting the answers if it needs to. And then when we have that, the column can know its active state and the column can know its renamed column name. So this is a moderate refactoring. It's not a 20-minute one, but I think we can, hopefully we can keep the same interface on this, at least for starters. And that'll at least keep everything working for now. All right. So I think the initial value text field, but in the column state. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could. I mean, there must be a way, because, but like if I do it in init, okay, it's going to complain about those selfs. There's just no, now I don't know why it's not complaining about this one. Table selection, column name. Right, those all seem the same. We don't really want this. Well, let's maybe ask that. Swift init for a struct. Yeah. What's the matter with mine then? First name. It's only complaining about the binding ones. Oh, I got to do dot wrapped. Wrapped value? No. This. That one's going to go away. Cannot assign. Where's my little cheater book? find it online. Self._name equals name. Oh, name of binding. Okay, that's better. We don't need this. Yeah, I think that's how you do it. Okay, I feel better. Again, the warning system could have been a little more helpful for me, but yeah, let's see how that looks. Good. Okay. Well, thanks for the spelling, but okay. All right. I need to maybe this clicking anywhere turns that off. That's kind of annoying. Maybe I should only let you click on the eyeball. Oh, something's. Yeah, we're gonna have to work on that one too. Let me take a note. Okay, so we started renaming the fields. Thanks for pushing me on that. Renamed column equals state. Well, column names required, so I don't think we'll have to do that. One column view. Yeah, because we don't have to optionally do it. I think it will do this automatically. It seems to be working. Does it? If you're convinced we need to do something, though, let me know. All right, we got the binding. We got this, but this is doing. It's giving us that name where it should be and everything. So I think that initial name is good. If I type something, oops. And then I delete it, I'm back to where I started. So that's good. All right. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to leave the view behind. And then let's work on the table selection. Yeah, let's just close all these and then open table selection. All right. Yeah, I think it's I think it knows that it's the right thing. The other one is the binding rather than the state. So it's I don't know. There's these kind of hidden things going on, you know. But anyway, all right. So what I need, and I want to extract out basically this concept of is the column active and what's it called? Um, is is what we want. Okay, so let's see. Is this? I think it's a refactoring. It's a little bit weird of one, but what I'm going to do is assume this thing into existence and then pull stuff over. So rename table. I mean, is active. That's about this. It's almost before the renamed. Okay, but this thing I'm going to say let's rename this. I'm going to call it old. Okay, and then I'm going to make a new one. Okay. Let's make this class or struct. All right. And it must be codable. All right, and it must be equatable. Okay, so we're doing kind of it's more or less an extract class, but I don't know. We'll get there. So one thing we need is the all columns. Okay, and okay. Well, let's get it going and then we'll worry about it. So what I would think is that there needs to be initialization of column selection. Okay, so let's do this. Self.column selection equals metadata.columns dot map to column selection. And then this is really $0. Okay, so we're gonna put a constructor on here. Okay. Now that should be no harm because table selection has no member column. It's just columns. This is being created, but nobody's referencing it yet. So the next step is kind of the first one that really brings it in. Instead of metadata columns, we're going to go back through columns. .map $0.name. Okay, so we put them in and then we pull them out instead of going to metadata.columns all the time. Now we're going to our real ones. And well, okay. My question is, should I sort? Well, we know they're in order because we were given metadata keeps them in order and we keep them in the same order. So I think we're okay. We're not going to delete them physically. We're just going to, and you can't duplicate them like you do a table. So now we are actually using our stuff, and that's the first moment where something could break, I think. Okay. So now we make it know its name. Okay, and let's see if there's anywhere else we can use it, even in here. Oops, in here. Okay, original table, that's okay. Visible columns. Well, so these are selected. I'm going to say visible. Okay. And now let's get our selection status. Toggle a column. So the normal thing we would do is find our mutating functions. Anybody that changes a column attribute, we're going to make it also change it in our thing. Okay. Now for us, because well, I want to go to each one and tell it to toggle with column name, and it'll only toggle it if it contains it. Okay, so I'm going to give it another field. Var is active of Boolean. Well, it just starts out true. Okay, now I don't maintain these as a map. Now maybe that would be better. in the 2 minutes left. I'm thinking maybe it would be better to be a column name to a column selection. And this is columns dot there's a way to do this from a set of well, is it dictionary? Keys and values. Yeah. I don't know what S is. Okay. And this set is metadata as columns map. Okay. So now we're a dictionary of strings to column selections, and then all columns is the dictionary values dot sorted. I think I can do that. Okay, we'll make sure that works. Oh no. Dictionary. Okay, well, we can make these comparable too. All right, well, we got to stop. All right, I'll leave it here. Extension column selection is comparable. And we'll make that hold so we can do the sorting. I guess he wants this. We'll make it so the sorting can be done. Okay, so I guess that'll give us a starting place. Yeah, so well, if you get the keys from the dictionary, they're not sorted. So part of it, all columns is sorted. It doesn't explicitly say that, unfortunately, but it made sure of it. And originally it had the map metadata, and that is sorted, so it was sorted. Throwing stuff in a dictionary and pulling it back out doesn't give you a sorted list, so we'll have to do that. But once we add the comparable, we should be able to sort these by name, and it'd be okay. All right, well, we'll stop there and pick it up tomorrow, 2 to 4:30 Eastern, 7 to 9:30 UTC. And thanks for joining today. Catch you later. Bye-bye.